I appreciate y'all switching to Thursday so I could enjoy a day off. I actually logged out of my messages, which I have never done in 3.5 years. And I think maybe because the anxiety of like, if somebody messaged me, I have to respond. I know how y'all probably feel with that. And I actually logged out and I was like, oh, and I didn't log back in until this morning. I've never done that in 3.5 years. It was liberating. Okay. So truly, I guess I needed it really, really, really bad. So let's start, and just let me ask you all this. So I know we had many of you that were at NLC. So I'm going to have you ladies share with me. But most importantly, I just want to ask the follow-up to our call last time, right? We talked about leadership, and I just want to ask you, what have you implemented with your team so far? Have you had a chance to kind of dig into your team, understand, okay, I need to build a stronger community? Do I need to do, have you taken any of this that we talked about last time to your team? And just unmute yourself, please.
I'll go.
Yeah.
Oh,
please. Yeah.
Sorry, Daphne.
Candace, go, girl.
I'm still processing a lot of it myself. It takes me a little bit to digest information, so I'm not going to sit here and be like, yeah, I told him. But what does come to my mind, like my aha moments I had were like takeaways I wrote in the back of my notes section when we were at NLC, and I've kind of been trying to share those things with them right away, which are the easy, like implementable, is that a word? Those actions that they can do right away. And one of the coolest things I shared was a lot of the stuff from Kim Fitzpatrick's like branding. And I liked her ideas of new ideas for posting, where she starts her posts with like, before coaching, there was a time when, just to keep us on point with storytelling. And I know it's so simple and it's so obvious, but I feel like for me in this business at almost 4 years in, I get so like redundant, and then I kind of get lost in what I'm sharing because I share all the time. It's like, it really just brought me back to like, do the freaking basics. So I took that back to my team and they were like, oh my God, this is everything. And I'm like, I know we say it all the time, but it's like, it just clicks differently sometimes. So that's literally all I've done so far. I'm still trying to like, let it all
sink in. Will you go one step further and share with us what you shared with your team? And I only say that because there's many that weren't at NLC, but will you just share exactly that? Because I think that'll be great for this audience.
Yeah, let me find it. So what I did was I went live in there, and then I went to my notes where Kim talked. Didn't hear something. I'm on the spot, so I'm like,
okay, fine. We got time. Go ahead.
It was the one where she talked about faith over fear and about how your brand is your truth and your brand is what adds value to other people and sharing your story. And it really just kind of clicked with me because I told my team, one of the things like Bonnie said is that all like from an outside perspective, when we just share things about Beachbody, it looks like all the coaches are the same. And that bothers me. One of my fears in life is being the same. I don't want to be the same because I know I'm so different. And so I like to express that and like just share my personality. So when Kim kind of took us back to that storytelling, defining our attributes about ourselves and our own brand, like what showcases us, what's unique about me. So for me, I implemented immediately, switching my focus to like, okay, I live in an RV. That is so different than anyone else. So I'm going to start working that into my story. And I shared that with my team because I've really focused on that the past week. And it's getting a lot more traction than just like, I worked out. It was awesome. So what I shared with them too were the, let's see. Okay, so I liked what she said with starting a post with I remember when, and then telling a story about, whatever, and then comparing it to something that you're doing now that's different. So instantly after that workout that we did with Autumn, I was like, I remember when I used to hide from my husband when I worked out, and I went into this whole long post and I told, my, and everyone's like, oh, I do that now. And I was like, cool, duh, it works, right? Back to the basics. So then there was the second one was there was a time when and it just kind of gives us a different way to storytell rather than just being like before Beachbody, because that's easy to do. Before coaching, and I never thought. Does that make sense? So I remember when there was a time when before coaching, I thought, and they're so simple, but my team loved it. So I hope that helps.
No, that was amazing. That was one of the biggest things that I wrote down was just how she started those off. And she said specifically because in Instagram, you literally have that one line that will draw them in. And so if it's not riveting, if it's not, something that gravitates and makes you want to read it, people will just pass on your post.
And sharing about the workouts and all that accountability and stuff, like that's so basic. And like, I will be the first to say that I do that. I just like, when I get lazy, I'm like, I did my workout today and I used 15-pound weights instead of tens. And like, like that should go in the challenge group, right? So I just really loved her bringing us back to that like storytelling mindset.
So awesome. Thank you so much. I totally called you out on the spot, but you did awesome. So thank you. What about you, Jessica? I know you were there as well.
Yes. Oh my gosh. It was so amazing. It was so good. So some of the takeaways that were kind of like aha moments for me that I've been sharing with my team is I loved her story about how she loves working with old people. Like she's always wanted to help people age appropriately, and that's her passion. And something that really resonated with me is when she said she wanted to provide 5-star service in her team. And I feel like that's what I've been missing, because like I went into nursing, like I'm a registered nurse, and that's one of my passions. I love serving people. I know that we all do, but I feel like I've been missing that service aspect. I've been focused on recruiting and sharing my story maybe, and that part of coaching, but I haven't really dug in. And kind of, I think last call we've all talked a little bit about systems and having a system to plug people into, and I think it kind of works a little bit along those lines of creating a culture and resources for people so that we feel like we are providing that 5-star service to our customers and our coaches. And a couple of things that Kim said that they do that I really liked was, I love so she showed a new welcome email that she does, and then after that it was a personalized like recommendation. She showed it on the slideshow that she did, that she said like personalized I forget the word right now but basically guidelines for whatever, like Jessica. And then it said, these are your goals, and she listed their goals, and this was after their call, I would imagine, after speaking with them or when they first signed up. These are your goals. Here's what I recommend, like nutrition or fitness. I can't remember the categories that were on there, but something so simple. It doesn't have to be that intense. Like, I recommend you starting a 21-day fix, or, I recommend you starting this challenge group that we're doing. And these are your goals. Just kind of reaffirming that I see you where you're at and I hear you. And this is me as your coach. I'm personalizing this for you, and just having more of that personal connection. I really loved that. And then I also loved that they have, I think she said it's like a 39-page resource guide. Oh, thank you, Candace. A 39-page resource guide of everything. She's like, you don't have to reinvent the wheel, you guys. This is all stuff that's like in Coach Online Office and different resources Beachbody gives us, but she put it together for her customers so that they know. Her words were, we have to teach our customers how to be resourceful in life in general. And as a coach, that's one of our kind of responsibilities, I guess. And I love that. We don't want to create people that are totally dependent on us. We want to be there for them and teach them how to be resourceful in their own life in any situation, so that in the end they can walk away from our team, or like a month or two or a year later, and say, I truly have grown as a person because I've been a part of this team. And I never want to leave. But I really loved that aspect of that, creating that 5-star experience, or getting 5-star reviews, and it correlates with like my goal for this year is to be a 5-star diamond team. And so I don't know, I just really, really loved that. Same as Candace, I loved the branding and the 5 buckets, and really focusing on that. That was talked about a few times throughout the conference, about really sticking to those 5 themes of who you are. And I think a lot of us probably have some that are similar, like obviously the wellness or fitness or nutrition is in there probably somewhere. Family might be in there somewhere. For a lot of people, faith is in there somewhere, or mindfulness is in there. But usually I found there's 2 things at least that set us apart. Like Candace, live in a trailer. That's awesome. You know what I mean? And I lived in a trailer for a part of my life, and I've got 2 kids, and I worked in a prison, you know? So like that is something that sets me apart. We are a first responder family. My husband was in the military and he's in law enforcement. My whole family's in law enforcement. So that's something that kind of sets my family or my story apart. And so making sure that we if you don't have those things that you feel set you apart, to dig a little bit deeper, because we all do. We all have a story and we come from something. And then I really liked from Melanie Mitro, she did a great job of showing us what she does to structure her time. And I know for myself, that was huge that I've been missing. She uses the Google Calendar, and she literally, like, before the next month starts, will schedule. I wish I had her slideshow, because it was so awesome of how she structured out her calendar and communicated with her spouse, like, this is what we're doing for our team. And I know that we all probably have people on our downlines who are like, my husband doesn't support me, or, you know, my spouse doesn't support me, and this is really hard. To teach them, like, you have to talk to them, involve them in your goals, involve them in, hey, instead of just being on your computer or your phone all the time, say, hey, I'm doing this call with this new prospect, or, you know, involving them in that. And then making sure that you schedule unplug time so that you're not constantly on your phone or on your computer or whatever. So I thought that was really good. And then the last kind of takeaway, I guess, I think Bonnie did it, and she did an Instagram sneak peek to coaching in her stories. And I thought that was super creative. I'd never heard that before. And she does it over 3 days and says, basically, I'm going to give you a sneak peek into what I do as a coach through my Instagram stories, and how simple that is. And anyways, she said she recruited 40 coaches last month just doing that. So yeah. How does she do that? She basically just, like, throughout the day, she just, like, her one example was her laying in bed with her computer, and she's like, I work really, really hard in what I do, but I can do it from bed still, you know? And then, like, here I am checking in with my challengers, or basically just things that we do as a coach. How do you do it with kids? You know, like, I've got a newborn and a 2-year-old running around in dinosaur pajamas. This is my life, you know, which is crazy, but it's awesome still, because I'm still able to do a conference call, and that's part of the benefits of why we do what we do. So.
Love it. Thank you. I just want to reiterate, and this is going back to Melanie's, so obviously it was Melanie, Bonnie, and then Kim Fitzpatrick, and they were the speakers on each day. And, but what I loved what Melanie did with the calendar was she literally, how she blocks it out, but her number one thing on her calendar is her family time. Number 2 is her workouts. Number 3 is her personal business time. Number 4 is her team calls, trainings. And then number 5 is her team time, meaning she's making videos or anything else that she needs to make for her team. So do you see how her family time is number 1? And just like Jessica said, excuse me, I don't have to cough. Just like Jessica said, is she literally checks in with her husband, gets him involved and allows him to know what she's doing and why. So because at first it was always that heated argument, or he never knew what was going on, and he was definitely not the supporter in this business. I think she's won him over 8 billion times over by now with it. But I love how she scheduled that. And just like what Jessica said, is the downtime. Like, you have to schedule your downtime. You have to schedule your time away. So that was beautifully said. I want to also say what Candace and Jessica said with Kim Fitzpatrick is you have to find who you are. Like, she did a funny post where her and her husband, Jamie, did a workout photo shoot, and he's in camo pants, he's holding her, it looks like a typical Beachbody coach, and she said that was the most awkward photo shoot. I cried immediately after. I knew that wasn't me. And then she showed a picture of her and her kids in the kitchen laughing, goofy. And she's like, that's me. She's like, so stop molding yourself into the typical of what you think is right. Mold yourself into that typical funny, person that you are, because that's what's going to gravitate people towards you. And I loved that. And she came on stage in these these, not Hawaiian, but they were like Hawaiian pants, and everybody told her not to wear them, so she wore them. It was really, really cool. Thing like that, holding the containers like a huge, yep. It is like literally, if it's uncomfortable and it's not you, don't do it. You don't have to be that, you know? You don't have to be that. So thank you, ladies. Have you heard anything more about, has anybody in your downline or somebody that you're close to, did they go to NLC? Did they share anything with you that you would like to share? No? Okay. Yeah.
Britt, I had a coach who went, and she just went live for an hour in the team page. So I was 15 minutes into it because my internet was off yesterday. I was out running errands when she was live in the group. And so I love it. She had a whole list of things. I'm so excited to listen to the rest of it. So that was fun. She just talked about being short with your posts and making snippets, right? Because we feel with new coaches, there's so much pressure to write this long story and kind of be dramatic and share those pain points. But then also, if you haven't pulled someone in the first sentence, like you said, then you just need to take that longer post and break it up into 5 sections, and then you've got your content for the next 2 to 3 days. For sure. Which gives new coaches less pressure, right? Mm-hmm. To come up with content.
Thank you. I love that. I love that you had her go live too. And I would just challenge, if you guys had anybody in your downline or somebody that that is maybe in your team page or whatever it may be, have them go live, have them talk about it on the next team call. And just really, it's like Summit, obviously a very snippet version of Summit, but allow them to bring back the trainings and really build off of those trainings. Thank you for this that you just sent us. I clicked on the link and holy slides. Thank you, Candace. So there's all your little snippets there, ladies. I love that. And you even have Doug Moss when he starts to tear up and cry. He's going to hate the fact that that is on there. If Doug ever gets sentimental, you'll know it because he can't speak and he starts to tear up. And that image is that. And so poor thing. He did such a great, great job. So awesome. I love that. Okay. So I think from this, you are the best. I love that. Okay. So I think from here, ladies, is just each week, take a little bit more back to your team. What we just talked about, not overload, but hey guys, this is what I just learned, or this is what I just heard. Go live about it in your team page. Hey, I want to implement this. I, was told, with one of the trainings that you literally have the first sentence to gravitate your people. What if we start off like this? I remember when, or, go back to what Kim Fitzpatrick said within it. So just kind of use these things as new content, something that will excite. There's that image actually of them. You'll see Kim Fitzpatrick and Jamie, him holding her in camo shorts. That's actually very comical. So you will hopefully take this content back and just really engage your people to, most importantly, start working towards this event. It's a day and a half, and it literally is one of the best events. I hate that it's only a day and a half, but it is one of the best events to go to on such a smaller scale with only about 500 people in attendance. So perfect. I love that we talked about that. Is there anything else that you ladies, I don't have to say guys, you ladies took back to your team this last week? I mean, we talked about NLC. Was there anything else? Did you order the book, The Power of Positive Leadership? Did you start talking to your team about it? Talk to me, Goose. Yeah. Good job, Alicia.
I liked the exercise at leadership or at a new leader conference where they had us think of a word. I haven't asked my team to do this yet, but I feel like it would be a really good exercise to have our team have them start thinking about a word that Beachbody means to them, what it means to their life, just one word. And then not having anyone share until everyone's, got their word, and then having everyone share and explain. Because I went around the room and I asked people, what's your word? What's your word? And I was honestly shocked at the plethora of words. There were so many different words that I didn't expect. And it wasn't just, powerful for my own self to explain my word, but it was really empowering and moving to hear other people's words and hear how this opportunity, has impacted their life in such a different way than it's impacted mine. It inspired me so much to be able to make different posts and being wow, this business isn't just fitness. You know what I mean? Because sometimes we get stuck in that fitness and eat and work out and do this and I work out, because that's the easy part. But this exercise, it was really cool. And I think that it would really benefit our teams to get their wheels turning as well about their story. That way they can share the, the important stuff, the vulnerable, feelings. But yeah, I thought that was really cool because I didn't expect there to be that many words. And some of them I was shocked by and floored. I was whoa, that's deep. So Yeah.
For sure. I think that's a beautiful thing. Yeah, definitely go.
I've heard I've seen a couple people post about the word. What word was it for? To describe your life, describe your business, or what? I wasn't there. So can you expand on what the exercise was?
Jeff Hill said that great leaders, he was like going on this thing about great leaders leave their mark or something, and he was saying how he worked a lot and had to leave his family, and anytime he would leave his kids before he got to say goodbye to them, he would go and write like a little X or something on their hand with a permanent marker. That way, like anytime they woke up and they'd be like, oh, he was here, and then they'd think of each other all day. So they knew, like, you know, something like that. And then I don't know how the word correlated into that, but he just said to think of one word that is a word that Beachbody means to you. Like, what is one word, if you could sum up all of this, like, what does it mean to you most? And for me, I was like, okay, instantly to my mind, I thought free, because I was free. I'm free to be myself. I'm free from a boss. I'm free from all these things that I felt confined and trapped. And some people's words were like brave, you know, and they wrote them on their hands. That was the exercise, just to write them on our hands and then share them with each other, just so we could, you know, really see the impact that this has on people. But I hope that makes sense. So I thought it was cool just to have that call to action, like start, you know, the wheels turning. Because instantly, I mean, if you ask someone, I feel like that word instantly came to my head. And I'm sure that happened with a lot of other people. Like, it instantly, they had their word. So,
For sure. I think it'd be really wise to do a post within your team page and literally be like, on our next team call, we're going to discuss this. What does this mean to you? And have your word, and then be able to talk about it. Because if we're talking about community support, building a team, all of that, like, just by digging deep into those, it's a big deal. Like, I love that.
and then you could have everyone put their like hand up or whatever if they write their word on and take a picture. That'd be cool.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Very cool. Thanks, Stephanie, for asking that. All right, ladies, what else? Is there anything else that you took to your team before we kind of dig in a little bit deeper today?
So I actually have a little aha from last week.
Yeah.
So last Wednesday when I got off the call, like, these calls are amazing because we surround ourselves with people that are, you know, in kind of our same spot in the business. But then you start to evaluate like your own business. Once I got off the call, and I kind of had that, crap, you know, kind of feeling like I should be doing more, I should be doing better. And what is it that's constantly stopping me? And for so long, people are always saying, oh, you know, get out of your own way, get out of your own way. And, you know, I never have a problem with that. I never have a problem with like worried about what people, you know, think about me. But I finally discovered like that fear that I never knew that I had after the call last week, that once you discover that, then you can, you know, once you have a problem and you find the solution, then you can start, or identify the problem, you can start working on the solution. So that's kind of where I am. I'm in a whole different like realization of what's been holding me back that I never really discovered in like 7 years. And so I'm trying to now find personal development to help get through that. But I opened up and I shared that with my team of, gosh, if this is what I discovered, maybe you guys might be feeling the same way too. So that was kind of a takeaway of, you know, a fear that I uncovered after last week's call that I totally did not expect to happen.
That's a big deal. That's a huge deal. So let me ask you this. Do you mind sharing what that fear was?
So it kind of goes along the lines of, you know, worried about what people think. But like I said, I'm like Candace. I want to be unique. I want to be different. Like, I pride myself in, you know, going against the norm. So it's never been a problem with people, like their perception of me. But I have discovered it's, and it's kind of, my husband's behind me, people not, how am I going to say it? Not taking me serious and not seeing the greatness that I have. Like, I do really cool things. Like, I develop great content. I have awesome workshops, like, and people don't take me serious. Like, one example is I put together a vision board workshop a couple months ago that I think is like the best thing on the planet. Like, I went through so much research, and it's not just putting together a vision board. It's 5 days of like discovering, you know, truly diving deep, reverse engineering your goals, putting reminders in your phone, like taking exercises we did, you know, with Brendan Burchard at Summit last year. And I just thought, it was like, oh my God, I came up with this. And no one on my team did the vision board workshop. And a couple weeks ago, one of my coaches like, oh, I paid, you know, $10 or whatever for Lindsay Matway's workshop. And another coach on my team, oh, I just paid, you know, this money for Melanie Mitro. And it's like, people don't take me serious. They think that I'm just normal and average. And so that kind of, it makes me not want to go out there and be bigger, because I'm like, no one's going to take me serious. Like, they get excited about other people having success, around me, but not excited about my own success. It's like they don't think that I can do it. And it's not that I care necessarily about what other people think. It's more so the people I love, my husband, my team, that I want to take serious, want to take me serious. And it just, there's been examples over the last, few months, few years where I'm like, oh, no wonder why I kind of pull myself back. Like I have a vision of a training that I want to roll out, that I think again is going to be super amazing. And after the call last week that we had, I'm like, why haven't I moved forward with that? Like it can help so many entrepreneurs and, Beachbody coaches. And it's like, because people aren't going to take me serious. They're not going to think it's really good. What if it's not really good? What if I think I'm great and no one else does? So
I can promise you one thing, all of us will take you very serious. And like you saying that you have that training, I'm like, oh, where is it? Like, I want it. Like, did you instantly? Yeah. Like Jessica's like, me
it's
too.
on my course site.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's something, I will promise you, we will take you serious, but if that's ever something that you want to share with us, we would love to see that, so it's totally up to you, but we value you. And I think that's the hardest thing within this business is your coaches will never take you serious. It's like children. Yeah. If somebody else says it, then it's like, oh, then it's right. But I say, just keep on putting out that content, and maybe eventually, and like when I do a team call, I literally say to coaches, okay, what you are going to hear today is not going to be anything different. Your fearless leader has already told you this, but I'm just going to reiterate. And for some reason, you're going to think it's solid gold. Run with it. But most importantly, know that your leader has set you up for success with all of this. You need to take it serious. Like every single time I talk about that, because it is the very much norm in every single organization, Daphne. I will be completely honest with you. I think everybody shakes their head about now. Yeah. They still haven't made a vision board for 2018. Alicia, I'm right there with you. I get it. So if you want to share that with us, we will gladly accept your training, but that's amazing. Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. What a big deal. And I would say now that you witnessed it, it felt uncomfortable, press forward in it. Like go do that next thing. So you consistently take yourself out of that fear into that like growth. That's a big deal. Thanks for sharing, especially with your husband right behind you. That's a big deal. Alicia, what about you, honey? I know you unmuted yourself.
Yeah, so 2 things I changed this week that I've been really loving is, one, bringing back to my team where we are at as a team. Like I was looking at our elite ranking and I went from January and I was like super excited about it. And so I brought that back to the team and just on our team call and really reiterating that like, this isn't me. Like, this isn't just me, this is you. And like, even if you're a brand new coach and you sign up one customer, like every single thing that you do moves that needle forward. And I think in the past, it's been one of my downfalls is not creating that team culture and having it kind of be ego driven, which is hard to admit, but it's kind of how I was. So, but like this year, I'm really trying to create a better team culture and really helping everybody understand how what they do contributes. And then really wanting to simplify everything for my coaches, because I think another thing that my ego has let me do in the last couple of years is overcomplicate everything, and like trying to get into like email marketing and like lead campaigns and Facebook advertising and like this amazing online training portal for my team. And like really all that it was doing was like adding clutter and complication and making it seem like really, really freaking hard. And so this year, I'm like, I just want it to be like super crazy simple, because if you see coaches like these crazy successful coaches like Haley, I know a lot of us follow her on Instagram, and she's like, I don't do anything. Like, I use my phone. I don't have many systems. I don't blah, 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 blah. And so one thing I did this week is I created Google Forms for each day of the week for my coaches, and with just like super simple daily actions. Like, this is what you should do on Monday. Check yes or no that you did it. And then I made a little video that's like 5 minutes for each day, just breaking down those actions. And it's just it's what we should do. It's what was on the slide from Carl at the New Leader Conference. But they are really, really loving it, because especially as new coaches, like, I don't know about you, but I remember just sitting there and being like, I know there's this thing called a power hour, but I have no idea what I'm supposed to do in it. I'm like, I am so clueless. What am I inviting to? And so this just is making it really simple for them to go through and be like, okay, I did my workout, check. I drank my shake, check. I invited, I expanded my network. And then I have a couple different things, like on Monday, I have listened to the National Wake Up Call, and like once a week, it's like check into the Beachbody Champions page and look over the training that's in there. But it's really, really simple for them, and they're really liking it, especially as new coaches, because it gives them something tangible to do and to know what to do. And so they're seeing really great results from it. And then I also took Hannah Jackson. She did a video, I think it was in the Instagram stories training, but she did that little clip of her like daily topics of posts that she said she gives to her coaches. And so I put that in there. So I gave them like 2 post topics a day and just sort of used what she did. And so that's really helping them to know what to post on social media. So they're not just like getting, because I know like I get into a rut. I'm like you were saying, Candace, like, yay, I worked out today. Awesome. Like I can throw together a workout video with like 3 moves in like 2 seconds. Like that's easy and comfortable, but like I'm bored as F from that. So I'm sure my followers are too. So that's just really helped to make sure that we're like touching on all the different topics like Jatana had outlined in there. So I would say those are the 2 biggest things, is like really trying to simplify this for people and really trying to create that community and team feel.
For sure. Thank you. Thank you for also putting the Beachbody Champs page in that checklist, because there is so much great content. And I promise you, we go through a lot of work to try and figure out what to bring to you guys. So I appreciate you having that as a resource. I know there is so much content out there, but I think that is one group, one page that is vitally important for your new coaches to be part of. So thank you.
Yeah.
And then everything else was obviously awesome. So I appreciate you.
Yeah. And I think it's so important because, again, back to that like ego sort of overcomplicating thing and trying to think that you need to reinvent the wheel and like you need to be everything and everything, all and everything for your coaches, when it's like, just plug them into that group. Like, God, they can watch like 1 video in there and have like so much knowledge. Like we need to get out of our own ways, or at least I need to get out of my own way and stop overcomplicating the shit out of everything.
I think it's the common theme here. We all do it. So don't worry. Don't worry.
Good.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Teresa, I'm going to throw it over to you. How are you, girlfriend? You're not driving this time, so you're here.
I know. I'm sorry about that.
You're good.
Well, Mark and I have been talking, and, you know, we got a lot from talking to you personally and about the mastermind and everything. So that has been going really, really well. And I think what we were struggling with was, and this is kind of a theme too, is the whole culture. It's creating that culture within the team. And because we work our businesses, so we're, you know, husband and wife, and we have similar niches, but we have this one team. You know, he has his personality, I have my personality. So it's kind of hard to really create like a universal culture, if that makes sense. So, you know, we were struggling a little bit with that. And I think that doing the mastermind was an awesome idea, and we're doing great with that. But I think it also kind of took us away from the team. So we're not posting as much on the team page and everything. And so we're starting to talk about that. We're starting to talk about how we can, you know, come back and do live calls, because that's what we were doing. We were doing a live call every week, and we were having our leaders, you know, touch on different topics. And, you know, that was going okay, but because that culture wasn't there weren't a lot of people that were showing up, you know, the same people, and it felt like we were wasting our time. And I know I probably shouldn't say that, but that's what it felt like. And, you know, I'm going back to like what Daphne said, you know, it's kind of like that validation, like you're putting out all this content and information, hoping that you're really helping your team, but then you don't ever get that, you know, hey, that really helped me, or just that validation. So it's kind of like, well, why are we wasting our time? We could be focusing more on those people, the runners, and, you know, everybody who's doing all the work. So that's what we did. But now we're kind of going back and trying to see how we can kind of liven up the team again. And because we're focusing more on that, like a lot of stuff is happening. So we added a couple more people to the mastermind. People who have shown that they're really excited now, and they're taking a lot of action. And that's actually creating, you know, bringing our team back a little bit more to life, because, you know, all it takes is one person. It only takes one person to kind of spark that fire. And that's what's been happening. So, we have more people on the team. There's someone who just came in a week ago and she made Emerald in SE10, and everybody's like, what? How did you do that? And it's because, she hasn't gotten that influence from the people who are stagnant. So she's like, I have my goals. I know what I want, and she's going for it. And everybody's like, oh, well, then maybe I can do this again. So, we had a bunch of rank advancements this week, which is really exciting because, for a long time, we didn't have that. And, of course, it also has to do with us and our energy and everything like that. So I feel that, coming up again. So that's really exciting for us. So that's what's been going on with us.
I love it. Thank you. Okay. Amazing. And I would just say continue to roll with it. But it's a huge aha when you realize, what the community and what we have going on isn't really working. We need to kind of dial that in. And it is hard with different personalities. And, when I've talked to Teresa and Mark, it's like, hey, the women obviously want to be associated with Teresa. It's that loving, nurturing, caring, person that helps them get to their goals, where, Mark is more of that, like kind of that drill sergeant, right? He's a police officer. He's just, okay, let's do this. Now we're going to do this. And so I think what it really comes down to is finding what's going to work. But I love the fact that you are taking this back and being like, okay, how do we critique these things? How do we make it better? Because if you focus on that and you focus on that servant leadership of, becoming the best leader and really meeting your people where they're at, that's where you're going to build that community. So I love that. Anybody have questions for Miss Teresa, since she does run it with her husband or anything like that? He did an awesome thing in the Beach by Champs page, Mark Hildebrand, 2 Fridays ago, and he talked about challenge groups. It was a great live that he did. So if you want to check that out, that was really, really cool. All right. You've all talked. How do you feel after today's call? Do we feel good?
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
One more small thing. Bonnie mentioned something that helped me a lot with Instagram, was hashtagging things relating to where you are in your life right now. And that made all the difference for me, because I know I would do like orange hair, but like, that's not really going to find me people. So it was cool because I started changing my hashtags like immediately, things that I'm going through in life, which is like fertility journey, natural family planning, things like that, and then obviously like RV remodel and things. And it's allowed me to connect with like this whole different audience. So anytime I'm making a post now, I'm thinking like, what am I even doing in my life right now? Like in this post that's related. And then I go and adjust like, I don't know, maybe like 10 of them. But I just wanted to share that because I've been kind of stuck at a standstill on Instagram and it's like killing me.
Yeah, for sure. No, thank you for bringing that up. One thing I want to say too, Lacey, did you have anything? You haven't really said much. No, you're good? Okay, good. Is there anything else? Next week, I do want to say we have Z Slingsby, who is a 5-star Diamond Elite coach. It was her first year being an elite coach this last year. And she is a very methodical, very business style type leader, and she's incredible, and she's going to be on the call with us. So she's going to be kind of telling a little bit about her story, and then how her and our team were able to grow to success, and then maybe just give you some suggestions on what's working for her. But I would say just bring your questions. This is your opportunity to really rub elbows with somebody that has gone towards this goal, has hit the goal that you're all working towards with your teams. And so I would say come with some questions. If you do have them, awesome. We will obviously be at our normal scheduled time on Wednesday, so I appreciate you all sliding to Thursday for me. But other than that, is everybody else good? I just want to make sure. What is her name? Z Slingsby. Yeah, so you can pre-creep her page. Please do. Z-E-E. Yeah, Jess.
I just totally startled the baby. Kind of going along with what Candace said, and it's very possible that I'm the only one in this group right now who's like slow to the Instagram wagon because I've been doing it, but okay. So I'm not alone. One of the things that for whatever reason, I haven't done this before, but when they had us really get clear on those 5 themes or topics or whatever you want to call them, that define us and who we are, I started searching those hashtags. Like for me, I'm looking for people who have the overcomer mindset. And that was something that I thought, what, these people will make great coaches, and they're going to get like, I was divorced at 26 and my dad died when I was really little. And so those things that like people will relate to my story, and I'll be able to tell them like, hey, I get what you're going through right now. So I literally searched the hashtag overcomer, and like a bunch of stuff came up, but I started following that. And then I started following the hashtag first responder, and I started following the hashtag, what was the other one? Thin Blue Line and Thin Blue Line wife and law enforcement wife, you know, things like that. And what's happening is I'm getting more, you know, on Instagram, it'll pop up whenever anyone uses a hashtag. And then I can look up those people that look like they're, you know, they correlate. That's not the right word. Align with me. That's completely unrelated to Beachbody. And so, cause they were really, and I feel like this is so common sense, but I haven't been doing it. Like aligning with people who have the same passion in areas unrelated to fitness, and then connecting with those people and showing them like, hey, this, you know, this is my lifestyle and this is how I could help you. That's really, I mean, for all of us, I think could really open up whole pools of people that we're like-minded with that we could help. So
that was awesome. Amazing suggestion, especially because you felt like you were the only one that doesn't do it. And everybody's like, a little hands come up. But I think it's great just to reiterate, you know, who you're going after, who is part of your story. And I would just remind you, we all need to be friends, right? I would literally say, you know, talk about who you were, you know, where you were at, but then how Beachbody has transformed your life. Who are you now? Who's the woman that you are now? And who are you wanting to strive to become? Because sometimes, and this is actually the conversation that I had with my coach right before I got on this call, was she's great about talking about her story, but her story deals with a lot of depression, a lot of self-doubt, a lot of, you know, nothing that's going to, like, depression, like, you know, stuff that we all have maybe dealt with, or we know somebody that has. But by talking about it, and I would just reminded her, I said, you've been a coach for 3.5 years. And if you talk about those things and you're, and that's who's coming into your team and who's going to be your coaches, remind yourself, it took me 3.5 years to get over that. You know, so these are instant challengers, but these aren't instant coaches, if that makes sense. So I love that, like, you know, the overcomer and all those, but also talk about where you're at now and who you're transforming into, because you also want that person that is in that same kind of stage as you if you are wanting a coach. Now, if you're wanting challengers, then meet them obviously where you are at. Like, you kind of just have to see where you're at, but I love that. So thank you so much for bringing that up, Jessica. Yay! Great call today, ladies. I really appreciate you. It's so much easier to talk non-Beachbody at first. Amen. Instagram users signed up in 2017, so they all know it. Yes. Love that, Stacy. Thank you. All right, ladies. Make sure next week, say original time, Wednesday, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and we will have our guest speaker, Z Slingsby, and then we will just continue on our little journey of our 8-week hustle. Does that sound good? Thank you. I appreciate each of you for jumping on. Have a great day, okay? Bye.